Hey everybody, it's your favorite girl who, none other than your girl vocal with AJ Reese. On this amazing Saturday, the sun is shining, all that good stuff. Let me show y'all how much I'm out and about, y'all. So you see the traffic and all that other good stuff. Yeah, I'm sitting out here taking care of some things early in the AM. It is the early bird that gets the worm. So for you late sleepy heads, get up, get up. You know when again, back to school days, he's wake up, wake up. But he was, waking people up, but also wake up, wake up. And I know I talked with you guys a while back and it was like, are you prepared? Are you preparing? Different things like that. So I'm getting back on that kick. I told you guys I was. So I ordered this book by author Teddy Daniels. And he's a combat veteran, and I've been sharing this, with my son and my husband. I'm sorry, y'all, my eye itching. And I'm getting ready to show you guys. And it's called The Final Famine. And it is how to keep your family fat and happy while the world starves. And as you can see, if you didn't notice, the shelves are empty, right? You ever think back to that time when COVID kicked in and it was a worldwide pandemic everywhere around the world at one time, and people were fighting over like toilet paper. I still didn't get the whole logic of that whole thing or whatever, but nonetheless, and needless to say, I didn't have to do those kind of things. Like, God just truly takes care of his people, and he doesn't take care of his people because we sit back and do nothing. His word states, faith without works is dead. And the bottom line is, you have to prepare for whatever it is that you want. So I was reading in this book, and I don't know how many will take, into consideration and how many will not. Honestly, that's not my issue. That's something that, you guys have to just kind of decide for yourselves. And it says why food security is a myth. It says the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And that's from Kaiser Soze, The Usual Suspects. And it says we live in a world where we're led to believe that we're safe and secure with plenty to eat and drink. We walk down the aisles of our supermarkets and we're bombarded by endless choices. But here's the thing, it's all a mirage. You see, behind the scenes, there's a delicate dance going on, a high-stakes game of musical chairs. And it's got the fate of our food supply hanging in the balance, and that is the absolute truth. Do you guys remember back when they had a whole ship, a cargo ship, with all of our goods and services that was stuck in the balance, hanging out in the waters? Do you guys remember that? If you don't, go Google it. I'm telling you, it happened. It was on the news. They would show it. And they were just saying how basically there were some things going on that they could not get to these things. These things were stuck out in the water, just sitting there. So what did that mean for us in these cities and states? We were lacking. We were behind. I remember during the pandemic when you couldn't get multiples like you do. You know how people buy in abundance? They would tell you, oh no, you're only allowed 4, or oh, you're only allowed 2, or oh, you're only allowed 1. And if you had more than that, they made you put that stuff back. Like, you literally, it would not ring you up for abundance. It would not. So I was saying to my son, who's here in the car with me, I was saying to him, regardless if you believe, if you don't believe, that's on you, up to you. But the bottom line is, there is a worldwide famine coming. And it's coming because of the greed and the lust of man, those who are in power. We don't think it's true. Some of us, oh, that's just a man. Oh, it's just this. Okay. Well, when it's happening, one thing I said, Lord, give us the instructions and the wisdom now as how to prepare the right way. Not the way we're used to seeing people in the stores fighting and snatching stuff from each. No. That's not God. That's not God. Remember, I think I talked about the 10 virgins. And with the 10 virgins, 5 of them were wise. The other 5 were foolish. The 5 that they all had the same amount of oil in their lamp. But the others, they did whatever. They did whatever. The other ones were very wise in their choices and their decisions, that they were able to have it when the time was right and when Christ returned for what was a profit for him. So there won't be enough seats for everyone. Listen, let me tell you something. It's real. Whether you want to believe it, whether you think it's coming, whether you don't think it's coming, it's coming. And I'm going to tell you why. I was looking at something on the news, and it was talking about how China is buying up a lot of our rural farmland in the U.S. The company's name may be an American name, but when you trace the name of that company or that real estate company that's purchasing up that land, or those buyers, leads all the way back to China. So they're claiming ground and territory over here in the U.S. Farmland. Sure is. Farmland. It says the Chinese government's been busy. China has been snatching up our land left and right, and they have. It's not a myth. It's not a prefabricated story or fable. It's not. It's real. I remember, and my son and them remember this particular dream. I had a dream. I don't know how long ago, because it was some years ago. But in the dream, we got snuck. Whether it was by China, Japan, it was one of those foreign countries. And we were so asleep, we never seen it coming. And when I say they tore and ripped us a new behind, they ripped us a new behind. I mean, they got us good. You know, they say the good old US of A. No, the good old US of A was sleeping, baby, just like they was with 9/11. We got. And I mean, they tore us 2 ways up. I mean, real good. We felt it, we saw it, and we knew it. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if we were coming back from that. I just got to be honest. What the Lord showed, it was bad. It was bad. And it was on a day when nobody expected it. Isn't it something? That's normally what happens. So think about what happened with Israel and Ukraine. Think about it. Think about it with how they were partying. They were out partying, enjoying themselves, and guess what? The enemy was in their territory, in their camp. We sleep too much. The things we should be taking seriously, we're not. We should. It says, according to the USDA, as of 2019, Chinese investors owned over 192,000 agricultural acres in the U.S. worth $1.9 billion. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, it says. It's like a deadly game of Monopoly, and we're the ones getting played. We are. And you know what's so sad and what breaks my heart is because we're always the one running to go bail out other countries, but they're going to be the very ones that when we need them, because we are going to need them, they're not going to be there. They're not. You see, our freedom, our security, and our food sovereignty are all tied to our land. If we lose control over it, we might as well hand over the keys to our pantry. So true. It says, but there's something even more concerning. A glaring red flag that we're ignoring. This final red flag I want you to look out for is in our own backyard. It's hollowed the halls of our government. And it says, I don't care what side of the aisle you lean on, this ain't about politics. And it's not. It's not. It's really not. It's about survival. How are you going to survive when this stuff happens? And see, the thing that gets me, we never want to sit and talk about the end times for real. And I mean for real. We want to talk about houses and cars and property and land and all. No. How do you plan on surviving when everything takes a turn and it shifts? How are you planning on surviving, you and your family, when martial law kicks in for real? And I'm talking about where you no longer have the right to just go out and enjoy yourself. When you no longer can just travel when you feel like it. You are told when you go to the store, when you go to work, when you go do this, when you go do that, you are told what to do. It says, listen, it says the next time you see a congressional hearing on your TV, pay close attention. It said, listen to the words they use, the topics they discuss. If you start hearing terms like emergency food provisions, national rationing, or agricultural scarcity, then buddy, you best be prepared. And it's true. That's our DEFCON 5 warning sign. The alarm bell that food riots are on the horizon, and they are. We see it. What was it, that dumb behind Stanley Cup thing? People in Target snatching from each other. The dumbest. You concerned with all the wrong stuff. I wish I would be in the store in there, or out there late in lines waiting for sneakers, this certain sneak. Let me tell you something. Those material things aren't going to be worth anything when it really gets down to the wire. They ain't concerned about how fly you look. They're not concerned how nice your house is, or I got the best of this. It's not going to mean a thing. It's not going to be worth nothing. I remember I was looking at the series, and my kids will tell you they remember, because I will have them look at it with us together. We would look at it together. And it was the Left Behind series. And it was basically after the rapture, being caught up when the Lord came back for his people. And, it was, whether you were a pilot who was a believer, you was no longer flying your plane. The plane was doing itself. People were just disappearing. People like, oh, something happened to the people. Yeah, they went home with the Lord. They are gone. That is the worldwide rapture that has taken place. And the bottom line is, everything was in chaos. Everything was in disarray. Everything was frantic, fear, panic, chaos, drama, worry. All of those things you could think of, it was here. Full force, full blown, no getting around it. People were trying to offer their private jets to people to get them out of there. They were trying to offer them money, all kind of stuff, and it was worth nothing. Nothing. We spend all this time focusing on all the wrong things. And in the end, it ain't worth nothing. It can't get you into heaven. It can't get you and your family to the safety that you need, or the provision that you really need during those times. What about first aid kits? What about the things you need when you can no longer go to the pharmacy? Because if you notice, they're closing the Rite Aids, they're closing some CVS, Walgreens. Pay attention. When you talk about really praying the prayer of faith and healing, we're really going to need those things, because you're not going to be able to go get Tylenol or amoxicillin or high blood pressure or cholesterol, diabetes medications. You're not. These things are coming to teach us we got to start doing the right thing and preparing right now. We are actually late and behind the 8 ball. We really are. You don't have to take this message into consideration. You don't even have to take it seriously. I don't care if you do or you don't. That's not my problem. But you will never say that God didn't provide an avenue of wisdom to open for you to start to give thought to this thing. So there are going to be people literally banging on doors, trying to get food, trying to get this, trying to get that from people. And literally the Lord is going to say, no. And people, how could God do that? No. There will be some he will say yay, and there will be some he will say no. No. He know the heart of man. He see farther and greater than we will ever see in this life. So I trust what he say, not you. It's tight, but it's right. Ain't that right, Sister Lynn? All right. So it says, you'll learn to spot the early warning signs, the harbingers of doom that signal the final famine's approach. I'm telling you, and it's going all the way back to the famines that, famines have haunted humanity since the dawn of time, and it is so true. Famine is nothing new to the world. It's not. But God will give us the tools that we need to make it through those things. He will. Let me tell you what it says. And here's the kicker. Famines are actually getting worse, not better. And they're not. They're not. According to the USDA, the number of people facing hunger nationwide is on the rise. True. It says, just look at the statistics. 1 in 6 Americans, or nearly 34 million people, including 9 million children, suffered from chronic hunger in 2020. That was just 4 years ago. If that don't send a shiver down your spine, it says, I don't know what will. I'm telling you, it says the Hall of Famine Horrors. First stop, the Great Famine of Ireland in the 1840s. It says over the course of just 5 years, this catastrophe wiped out more than 1 million lives and forced another million to flee their homes. And it all started with a simple fungus that attacked the potato crop, the main source of food for the Irish people. The suffering during the Great Famine was unimaginable. Families were torn apart, with children dying in mothers' arms. Do you want that for your family? Because I don't. I don't want that, just not for my family. I don't want that for anybody. I don't. The weak and the elderly perished in droves, their bodies left to rot in streets. And those who managed to escape were forced to endure a brutal journey across the oceans, packed into ships that became known as coffin ships because of the staggering death tolls on board. Dreams shattered, lives destroyed. That was a time when the world was already teetering on the edge of chaos. But in Ukraine, the bottom fell out. Wow. And it's so sad because, again, this stuff doesn't have to be, but it has to be. Because the Word of God does not lie. It doesn't. The Word of God doesn't lie. It doesn't. He talks about all of these things, regardless if we're paying attention or not. We will never be able to say we didn't know. We will never be able to say nobody was willing to teach us. So I'm going to continue to talk about it. Let me tell you something. This book includes, it's called the Red Dragon Report. And the Red Dragon Report, I'm turning to it, that's why I am. Okay. It says the invisible time bomb. Now imagine there's a threat out there, an invisible time bomb that could take us all down without us even knowing it. This ain't a sci-fi story. This is real, and it's looming over our heads, courtesy of Russia or China. Think about this. You're sitting there sipping your morning Joe, still in your PJs, and then bam, everything goes dark. Just remember, what, a week or two ago, it was the worldwide outage with social media. That wasn't an accident. That's on purpose. Your TV, your radio, even that shiny, fancy new refrigerator you just bought, they all stopped dead. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. The name of this invisible terror, it's called an electromagnetic pulse. In military lingo, we call it an EMP. A silent, invisible bomb that wipes out every bit of electronics we've got. You might wonder, how the heck do we know if it's an EMP or a nuclear bomb? Well, here's the thing. With a nuke, you'd see a big fiery mushroom cloud feel the fallout, the radiation. But an EMP is like the world's biggest magic trick. 1 second, everything's fine. The next, it's lights out. So that's all I got for you today. This video will be released on Tuesday morning, 12 midnight. It sure will. This is your favorite girl. Enjoy your weekend. This Saturday, I sure will. I have to work a bag bingo event for my job. We're going to have fun. Our theme is St. Patty's. I mean, I don't celebrate St. Patty's. I never did. Nothing against the Irish. Love the Irish. Love the Italians. Love the... Listen. Whatever. I get paid to do this. So, okay. Anyway, you guys have a great day. An enjoyable day. Stay prayed up. Stay open. Stay open. Stay open. Love you guys. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to all of my subscribers. Love you guys. God bless you. And I will be reaching out when, Lord willing, Thursday. But this video will be released on Tuesday. Love you. God bless. Peace.